Coming up, the state once again orders deep budget cuts. Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz collect their Election Day prizes, and the latest on the puzzling indictment and death of oil man Aubrey McClendon. Nightly is next. The state of Oklahoma delivered a follow-up gut punch to state agencies today, ordering additional budget cuts.
Starting immediately, all agencies must come up with an additional 4% reduction in spending between now and the end of June. That's in addition to the 3% cuts already imposed last December. State budget cut experts say the cuts are needed to pay $236 million in bills between now and June 30th. This is the first round of cuts made up for a shortfall of $157 million. The two reductions combine to bring the state deficit since December to nearly $400 million.
One of the agencies hit hardest will again be the Department of Education. The December cuts took nearly $47 million away from state schools. The deeper cuts announced today mean another $62 million will come out of Oklahoma classrooms. State Superintendent of Schools Joy Hoffmeister calls the cuts brutal and heartbreaking. Hoffmeister said our school children will be the ones who pay the steepest price.
State election officials have certified the votes from the Oklahoma primary and divvied up the delegates. And for all the time, trouble, money, blood, sweat, and tears that the candidates shed here, the rewards aren't that great. Senator Bernie Sanders received 52% of the votes and beat Hillary Clinton handedly. And for that achievement, he earned a grand total 21 delegates to Clinton's 17. And on the Republican side, Senator Ted Cruz won a tough fight against two opponents. Before his trouble, Cruz earned 15 delegates, while Marco Rubio and Donald Trump both gained 13 delegates.
In the wake of Tuesday's election, political pundits are examining what they got right and what surprised them. The head of OU's political science department told USA Today it's often hard to hit a moving target.
And unlike in the rest of the South, where the evangelicals largely broke towards Donald Trump, mainly as a nationalist, here in Oklahoma, Cruz won among the evangelicals. He finally consolidated that big Baptist vote and that big Nazarene vote. And it happens at the last minute. It overwhelms the early vote proportions. And it flips Oklahoma to Cruz, so Cruz is able to claim a victory and says something really unusual for a Texan. Thank God for Oklahoma. God bless Oklahoma. God bless Oklahoma. He may not win another election in Texas talking that way, at least in August.
Based on early voting polls, Donald Trump was in the lead, coming in around 33%. Evangelicals had a lot to do with the switch from Trump in the lead to Ted Cruz taking Oklahoma in the end and Trump landing in second place.
And while the pollsters and pundits might have been off base, some OU students seem to know better. Before the election, OU Nightly talked to students about their important issues, and as Ashley Sanchez reports, the election revealed that those students knew what they were talking about.
Before the election, we gathered a group of millennials to get their thoughts on issues and candidates. Most felt that Bernie Sanders had the upper hand with their generation, and voters did turn out in record numbers in Oklahoma, giving Sanders a win.
Well, Bernie Sanders, free tuition and health care, something that a lot of people say, well, yeah, that is a nice thing that we would all want to have.
I'm really leaning towards Bernie Sanders.
The younger demographic is probably going to be more gearing toward Bernie.
5 members of this group identified as Republicans, 3 Democrats, and 1 independent. Before the election, most were undecided.
All right, so how many are decided? And how many are undecided?
But Tuesday, minds were made up, and millennial voters put Bernie over the top. They were drawn to his promises.
In middle school, if the class president promises like free pizza, no homework, if you vote for him, that sort of feels a little bit what Bernie is doing with free college tuition.
This week, Sanders' tactic apparently worked, and the younger generation decided to go for the pizza. Ashley Sanchez, OU Nightly.
This weather is constantly changing. What is it like right now, Grant?
That's right, it's Oklahoma. You never know what to expect. But today was another windy day. Gusts or winds currently right now out of the north, northwest mostly. Sustained around 20 miles per hour here in Norman. A little windier in the southwest part of the state. across Oklahoma right now in the 60s, 62 here in Norman. Again, a little warmer down in southwestern Oklahoma. Now later in Maine weather, I'll have more on these winds and tomorrow and how long these above average highs are going to last and a little bit of a pattern change we're noticing starting Sunday. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Grant. Officials say the investigation into the death of OKC oilman Aubrey McClendon is going to take a while. Oklahoma City Police say a probe of Wednesday's crash will likely take up to 2 weeks, while the state medical examiner's office says an autopsy investigation to take as long as 3 months.
We're here on North Midwestern Boulevard in northeastern Oklahoma City, where Aubrey McClendon fatefully passed away yesterday. As you can see, the skid marks leading up into the base of the bridge where he passed away Wednesday morning after being indicted Tuesday on several counts of violating the Sherman Antitrust Acts. Aubrey McClendon was very beloved in Oklahoma City as he created many jobs in the city, and as you can see, there's memorials set up behind me.
The memorial was erected this morning by McClendon's loved ones. The memorial consists of 2 crosses with handwritten notes from his family. Neckties were hung from the crosses, and hard hats from the companies he helped out sat along the bases. Police are still investigating whether or not McClendon's death was a suicide.
McClendon had a huge impact of the development of Oklahoma City, but he also gave a lot of money to OU. He gave a grand total of $12.5 million to the university, with $5.5 million going towards the McClendon Honors College, another $5 million to help build the Headington dorms, and a final $2 million that went towards the OU rowing facility. On top of that, those donations, his former company, Chesapeake Energy, gave $2.5 million to the Newborn College of Earth and Energy and the College of Atmospheric and Geographic Sciences. President David Bourne also gave remarks on the passing of the energy mogul, saying, "I was saddened to learn the death of Aubrey McClendon. He was a very generous supporter of the university and had deep interest in creating opportunities for our students." And Emily
Akins joins us now in the News Center with the latest on the Syria power outage. Emily?
Thanks. War-weary Syria is in the dark today. The government-run power grid went down earlier today. It's unclear how many people are affected by the outage. Officials say it could take more than 12 hours to get the power back up and running. Mitt Romney spotted the elephant in the room and certainly wasn't afraid to talk about it. The 2012 Republican candidate today called the Republican frontrunner a danger to America's future. Last night, Trump attacked Romney via Twitter, and just hours after Romney's speech, Trump countered with some words of his own.
I backed Mitt Romney. I backed him. You can see how loyal he is. He was begging for my endorsement. I could have said, "Mitt, drop to your knees." He would have dropped to his knees. He was begging.
The Republicans hold another debate tonight on Fox News. Megyn Kelly, who sparred with Trump in the first GOP debate, will be among those asking questions tonight. That's what's happening around the world. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Emily.
Still ahead on OU Nightly, OU Performing Arts College honors the men and women of silence as they take us back to the 1920s.
Plus, an interim dean of architecture has been announced.
OU President David Bourne has named an interim dean of the OU College of Architecture, Hans Butzer. The position was opened after the death of former dean Charles Graham. Butzer is a respected architect known for designing the Oklahoma City National Memorial and is the director of the OU Division of Architecture within the college. Butzer's goal is to build a new energy and to take everyone's voice into account and then move forward with the strategic plans of the college.
I feel so privileged and at the same time very excited for our students and the college.
The OU Board of Regents will approve Butzer's position by early summer. And every Thursday, Macy B. Healer joins us to give us a look into the Oklahoma art world. Macy?
Stephen, comedian Jamie Lee is coming to OU this weekend. You may know her from Girl Code or Chelsea Lately. Huffington Post rated her one of the top 18 women to follow on Twitter.
You guys drink? You drinkers? Boozy Susies? Okay, I don't mean to judge you if you do, but I only drink when it's a special occasion. You know, like when it's someone's birthday on Facebook. But,
Lee will be at the Meacham Auditorium tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Admission is free. You can take a trip back to the 1920s this weekend at a 2-day festival put on by the OU School of Music. OU is celebrating comedy from the silent film era with short films from Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and others. There will be organ accompaniment and lectures along with the films. The films will be playing tomorrow and Saturday starting at 8 p.m. at the Catlett Music Center. Tickets are $9 normally or $5 for OU students. Skip Hill is a Norman artist who was granted a fund to travel to Brazil to further his artistic practice. Hill's art is featured in several different countries around the world. He used his time in Brazil to work at a nonprofit art school to help kids who came from poverty and drug-fueled violence. We got a chance to talk to Hill about his Brazilian-inspired art collection.
Mason.
Hi, Mimi.
I just
Thank you.
love them. I do. And I have all my kids come out here. In fact, do you mind if they meet you
No,
too?
bring them out. Yeah, they're great.
This current exhibit is Skip Hill, which happens to be me. It's actually a combination of Under the Mango Tree. We call this particular show the Love Garden, as the work is inspired by the botanical gardens in Rio de Janeiro, the Jardim de Botânico in Rio de Janeiro. When I listen to my folks talk, it's like I've been playing with paper since I was since I was a child. And so that's managed to carry on all these years later, and that I am basically playing with paper. Almost a circle, if you will, of the first trip and the second trip, and can't wait till the third trip.
Hill will be at Main Site Contemporary Art from 6 to 8 tonight.
Very, very cool. That's awesome.
His artwork's very cool. Well, thank you, Macy. The Will Rogers World Airport has a brand new rental area called Sonic Gates OKC. Airport officials unveiled the car rental center after 2 years of construction. OU Nightly spoke to some people who said they wasted time driving to the old car rental location inside of the terminal. They said the airport's website hasn't been updated to show the new location, which is located about a half-mile north of the terminal. An airport spokeswoman said she will be updating the website as soon as possible.
And still ahead on OU Nightly, Grant will give us a peek at what we can expect for the weekend weather.
It was a noisy evening here in Norman last night as a line of storms passed through central Oklahoma, bringing with it some hail and some pretty good sized rainfall as well. 3/4 of an inch here in Norman last night, higher amounts up to an inch here through Grady County, Pottawatomie County, Seminole, and Hughes County as well. Now that storm system that passed through last night has moved its way out to the east, dropping rain and a few thunderstorms out through Mississippi and the south, dropping snowfall through the Appalachians, the Ohio Valley, and into the Great Lakes as well, closing schools and roads out there. Now tonight, we'll see that storm system move out to the east. As the center of high pressure moves into Oklahoma, these gusty northerly winds will also move out as this high pressure moves in over the state and North Texas, calming winds through the overnight and allowing us to drop into cooler temperatures tonight as well. Now, by tomorrow and noon, we're going to see a return of these winds on the other side of this high pressure system out of the south, gusting to around 30 miles per hour once again, so very similar to today. And then we'll see this trough out here in the Panhandle forming. And by Friday night, we're going to see that move into the state with the low pressure center centered over the Texas Panhandle. Once again, those winds are going to remain out of the south, but they'll die down through the overnight. And then by Saturday at 6 a.m., that trough will switch into a cold front and combine with the center of low pressure over into Canada and bring us slightly cooler temperatures for Saturday. And once again, keep those winds down rather. And then by Saturday in the afternoon, we're going to see winds switch to out of the east and increase as a few clouds move in their way into the state behind this cold front. And then by Saturday at 11, we're going to see increased cloud cover through the state, a few showers as well as this low pressure moves out and the cold front as well. And then by Sunday morning, we're going to see these southerly winds wrap up once again, along with increased cloud cover across the state and possibly a few showers and thunderstorms as well. Tonight across the state, mostly in the 30s, a little warmer in southern Oklahoma, 39 in Norman. As you head out the door tomorrow, 43, sunny and mild, warm again though, as we warm up into a high in the 70s across most of Oklahoma. Now look at the 7 days, 72 tomorrow, 72 once again on Saturday. Sunday, slightly cooler with a chance for rain and thunderstorms. Through Monday, a good chance for severe weather on Tuesday already, and then slightly cooler after that.
Man, I'm not looking forward to all the rain coming up, but we may need it.
That's
so
right.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Grant. And it is good to see football starting back up again. Stephen has what's going on in the sports world. Stephen?
Yeah, it's football time in Oklahoma, and the OKC Thunder are coming off a disappointing loss. Sports is around the corner. Hi, I'm Stephen Mudd, and this is OU Nightly Sports. Spring is in the air, and that means spring cleaning, spring break, and in Norman, spring football. Reagan Ledbetter has more.
Head coach Bob Stoops held his annual spring football press conference today, and after losing many key position players to the draft, Stoops is eager to see the strides young players have made this offseason.
Anxious really to see our guys play. It's always an exciting time of year when younger guys, new guys, when, guys move on. There's always some guys that, have made a jump, through the year that'll be, anxious for their time on the field. Now we get a chance to evaluate them as they try and earn positions on the field.
Stoops says the goal of this spring is developing depth at each position. Spring practice kicks off this Saturday, leading up to the annual red and white spring game April 9th. Reagan Ledbetter, OU Nightly Sports.
Yeah, and Steve Spurrier is back. Well, Steve Spurrier Jr., that is. Spurrier will take on the role as Director of High School Recruiting and serve as an offensive specialist. Spurrier was the wide receivers coach at Oklahoma from 1999 to 2001 before leaving to help his father in the NFL with the Washington Redskins. Meanwhile, the men's basketball team will wrap up the regular season on the road Saturday at TCU. They'll need to improve in one obvious area. The Sooners have suffered a pair of second-half collapses in their last two games. Saturday in Austin, it was the Longhorns finishing with a 25-5 run in the final 7 minutes to upset OU. And Tuesday on senior night, they blew a 26-point lead to Baylor before pulling out the late win. The players don't believe that a thin bench has them too fatigued in the stretch run.
Practices are toned down a little bit. We still do what we have to do to get better, and we still game plan hard, but kind of the running out is out of practice, so we save our legs during the week and just get our minds right for the game.
Moving on to the women's side of the ball, 3 OU women's basketball players earned Big 12 honors. Sophomore Vivi Pierre-Louis was selected as the Big 12's 6th Man of the Year. Redshirt senior KK Williams was selected to the Big 12 second team, and redshirt junior Peyton Little was named All Big 12 honorable mention. The Oklahoma Sooners track and field team is on the rise. They declared 9 players for the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships on March 10th and the 11th. All 9 of the players will be making their nationals debut. The OKC Thunder were hot in the first 3 quarters last night. Kevin Durant with the big slamma-jamma, and Russell Westbrook with the saucy layup. But with 5 minutes left in the fourth, the LA Clippers would get hot and the game would go up creek without a paddle for the OKC Thunder. DeAndre Jordan had a monster game, knocking down 2 of his 20 points with this pretty little putback. Jordan would finish the game with 18 rebounds as well. With a little over 45 seconds left in the game, Jamal Crawford will pull up from the free throw line with the double clutch and seal the deal for the Clippers. The Thunder blow a 22-point lead and lose 103-98. Hey, moving to the fairway, Tiger Woods opened his very own course this week, and what a better way to open it than having an 11-year-old Taylor Crozier nail an incredible hole on one of the first swing ever taken on the course. Amazing! The course is called Blue Jack National and sits in the Houston area. It features a 10-hole, 792-yard par 3 course designed for kids.
That is incredible.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Well, still to come on OU Nightly, things got a little awkward at Donald Trump's Super Tuesday speech.
After Donald Trump's success on Super Tuesday, he gave a speech and standing behind him was New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, and he did not look comfortable. Christie's awkwardness, of course, caught the attention of the internet, and the people had plenty of funny things to say. Anything from a hostage situation to whether he left something on the stove, maybe even thinking of delicious food. Governor Christie looked more awkward than a teenager's on the first date. Thanks for watching OU Nightly.
Catch us back here tomorrow at 4:30.
Have a good night.
Good night.
I'm Ashley Pratt with your OU TV weather brief. Well, it has been a gorgeous day in Norman today. We have had a high pressure system sitting on top of us that has been allowing for those sunny skies and dry conditions. Those winds from today will die down tonight, and tonight the temperatures will be in the mid to upper 40s across Oklahoma. And then as we go into your Friday tomorrow, highs will be in the mid to upper 60s. It'll be a gorgeous day, so make sure to get out and enjoy it. Those winds will be shifting from the south, so it'll feel a little bit warmer tomorrow than it did today. 8 a.m. as you walk out the door, it's going to be 46. We will warm up to 66 by 4 p.m. It'll be sunny throughout the day. You may see a few clouds or so, but overall it will be a gorgeous day. We do have a high fire danger in effect, a moderate fire danger in effect on Friday, and then that fire danger will decrease as we go in through the next part of the week on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then looking at your 7-day forecast, we do have some chances for storms for the next half of the week, but make sure you get out and enjoy that beautiful weather on tomorrow and on Saturday. We do have a chance for some thunderstorms on Saturday, but just a small chance. We could see some severe weather on Monday, but we will keep you updated. This has been your OU TV weather brief. I'm Ashley Pratt. Make sure to watch OU Nightly weekly at 4:30 p.m.
This is an OU TV News Brief. I'm Allie Stratton. Officials say the investigation into the death of Chesapeake Energy founder Aubrey McClendon could take up to 2 weeks. Police say McClendon drove straight into a wall, resulting in a single car crash. The crash happened 1 day after McClendon's indictment on federal charges. And to cope with the sharp drop in oil prices, Oklahoma will slash spending by 7% for the last 4 months of the fiscal year. Officials have told all state agencies to cut a combined $236 million from their budgets. That's in addition to the 3% cuts already imposed last December. And Mitt Romney took on Donald Trump today, saying Trump is a phony who is playing the American public. Hours later, Trump lashed back, mocking Romney's loss in 2012 to Barack Obama. In response to criticism from GOP establishment, Trump says he is being treated unfairly and may run as independent. This has been an OU TV News Brief. I'm Allie Stratton. Good night.
This is an OUTV Sports Brief. I'm Annie Barraza. The Oklahoma City Thunder had an epic meltdown last night against the LA Clippers. Leading by as many as 22 points, the Thunder entered the fourth quarter with a 17-point lead. After Enes Kanter's dunk at the 7:26 mark, the Thunder only scored 5 points the remainder of the game. The Thunder lost to the Clippers 103-98. The Sooners track and field teams have declared 9 student athletes for the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. Last year, the Sooners only sent one NCAA qualifier. The championships will be held on March 10th and 11th in Birmingham, Alabama. And 3 Oklahoma women's basketball players earned Big 12 awards announced Wednesday. Vivi Pierre-Louis was selected as the Big 12 Sixth Man of the Year, and Peyton Little was named an All-Big 12 Honorable Mention selection. KK Williams earned an All-Big 12 Second Team honor. This has been an OUTV Sports Brief. I'm Annie Barraza. This is an OUTV Sports Brief. I'm Annie Barraza. The Oklahoma City Thunder had an epic meltdown last night against the LA Clippers. Leading by as many as 22 points, the Thunder entered the fourth quarter with a 17-point lead. After Enes Kanter's dunk at the 7:26 mark, the Thunder only scored 5 points the remainder of the game. The Thunder lost to the Clippers 103-98. The Sooners track and field teams had declared 9 student athletes for the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. Last year, the Sooners only sent out one NCAA qualifier. The championships will be held on March 10th and 11th in Birmingham, Alabama. And 3 Oklahoma women's basketball players earned Big 12 awards announced Wednesday. Vivi Pierre-Louis was selected as the Big 12 Sixth Man of the Year, and Peyton Little was named an All-Big 12 Honorable Mention. KK Williams earned a Big 12 Second Team honor for the second straight year. This is an OUTV Sports Brief. I'm Annie Barraza. Good night.